We are live. So, guys, it's Nick, Social Cinema on Twitter, Progressive Martial Artist on YouTube. We're back again today. After we did a 3-hour stream today, I had all my comrades in the chat. We had, it was a fun time breaking down the chaos that was happening yesterday with the fascist protest that was going on, where they were trying to overturn the election. So, what we're going to do today, I promise you, today it's not going to be a long stream like yesterday. But I just want to go over some of the fallout. First thing first, let me, I put my Twitch link out there. Let me tweet out the YouTube version so you can pick which one you like the most. But yeah, if you have not been following my YouTube page, and if you're on my Twitch, because I'll stream on both YouTube and Twitch. So if you ain't following, if you're not on my YouTube, if you're on Twitch, check that out, because I have been practicing how to edit videos and produce videos at a much higher level. So I've just started. Like I said, 2021, we're gonna see my channel transform a lot. So please check out my YouTube channel. Let me put it up there. Let me put it on my stream. I'm gonna put it on my I'll put it like right where I have my Patreon and PayPal here very soon. First, I'm gonna tweet my the YouTube out, the YouTube version out. Anyway, tell me how you guys doing, and you guys know how I usually do my streams. If you guys see anything interesting you want to share, let me know. Live now, discussing fallout from yesterday's madness. Everyone got the ball on the madness of yesterday, so. I also do want to cover very important climate news as well, because despite all the crazy stuff that's happened in 2020 and the crazy start of 2021, we still have to worry about the climate change crisis. Like, it's just one thing after the next.
Nick, you got yourself muted.
Oh yeah, I'm just on.
You have yourself muted, Nick.
Yeah, no, I'm on. I just got on stream. I think the stream can hear me. Sunshine Peace is now following. What's up, guys? What is up? So we are just going over some of the fallout from yesterday. We can see what A1 is tweeting about. I just got the YouTube link up now. Something I do want to talk about before we get into everything that's happening is let me see if I can find the story first. But as I mentioned, we have a lot of problems, not only with our fascist police state, but we still have to deal with the threat of climate change. Like, this is something that's not going to go away. And I was getting very frustrated and upset throughout the course of the primary, because I literally seen progressives literally, they will apologize for Joe Biden's climate change plan throughout the course of the primary, and that drove me crazy. I literally seen people, even some decent people I respect, they were saying stuff like, well, we gotta vote for Joe Biden because at least he got a good climate plan. At least that it'd be a step forward to fighting climate change. My response to that is, you realize that there is quite literally no middle ground on the issue of climate change. You realize that, right? You either for fighting climate change or you're not. Like, the scientists are very specific about this on this issue. I see some people in the chat. Thank you, Disciple Zoo. That's a new name. I'm glad to see you're watching. Royal Pile, and obviously Social Sienna is here as well. Sorry to do my little intro here. I just heard you typing a little bit, but I can bring you in for a discussion as soon as I get done covering the story here. Insidious MG, how you doing, brother? How you doing? Sorry, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to assume your gender or anything. Hopefully that don't upset anyone. I just like to say brother a lot. But what I was saying earlier, you either for fighting climate change or you're not. Either you believe the scientists or you don't. Daniel said, Nick, we need for Congress in 2022. And I'm very vocal about the fact, Yeah, you're a male. Cool. I'm very vocal about the fact that I would never rule it out. I talked about it a lot last year. Thank you, Jahim. Amazing show, new fan for Tallahassee. Thank you. So I would never rule the idea of running, but I got to make sure I don't waste any left resources. You know what I mean? So I have to make sure that I have a legitimate chance to win. And honestly, I mean, people know me from on Twitter. I made a lot of enemies in the Democratic Party. Made a lot of enemies. But I do think I have a good line of attack against my congressperson, Manuel Cleaver, one of the black congressional oligarchs. You guys know how I feel about the Black Congressional Caucus and their members. They are complicit with the destruction of the black community because they abandoned their they abandoned their revolutionary roots, and they decided they want to join the faction of neoliberalism, and that's what Cleaver has done. So my only thing is, I like everyone else that challenging an incumbent will be a massive underdog. But what if I knock on every door in my district, and what if I explain to them the evils of the corporate bailouts that Manuel Cleaver voted for, the laughable COVID relief packages we got in all time this entire time? You gotta realize in Kansas City is a mostly black district. That's why we lean Democrat, just like St. Louis, even though we are in a red state. So we are heavily black population, about 3 times more than the national average. So if we have 3 times more than national average black people, I can literally say, hey, black people bear the brunt of COVID the most. And Manuel Cleaver, your rep, he abandoned you. He voted for corporate bailouts instead. He voted for the HEROES Act instead. The HEROES Act provided a corporate bailout of the health insurance companies. Meanwhile, people don't have health care. Meanwhile, black people have 31% of all medical debt. We are most likely to die because we don't go to the doctor. We are most likely to die because we don't have access to health care. I don't go to the doctor. Haven't been I don't know how long. Meanwhile, Manuel Cleaver doesn't support Medicare for all. My thing is, look how AOC won. I would take the AOC approach, where I will quite literally knock on every single goddamn door in my district. And I have a lot of people that will work with me on my campaign that will help me do that. So that's something that I'm strongly considering. Whether it be for 2022, I'm not sure. Maybe 2024. Maybe. We see. I would never ever rule it out because I think the left takes all its shots. And my complaints with the progressive members that we have right now is they are not aggressive enough against the Democratic Party. And I am a strong believer that I want to be the change I want to see in the world. Right? I want to be the change. So if I could, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Because I'm in Kansas City. We got a black congressional oligarch here that don't support the Green New Deal. After the election, he went on Fox News to attack the Green New Deal, and he went on Fox News to attack progressives because he said progressive and the Green New Deal and those kind of policies hurt Democrats down ballot. So what if can you imagine? Can you imagine if Cori Bush in St. Louis endorsed my campaign? Because I am running. If I did run, once again, this is all hypothetical. If I did run, I'm not running like a standard, not even like a standard progressive. I mean, the reality of my situation is different. People know me on Twitter. I got a lot of Democratic operatives that hate me, hate my guts. I'm running. If I did run in 2024, I'll run as a Malcolm X candidate. An unapologetic candidate that's advocating for the working class, a rainbow working class, and will speak to truth to power without any. I'm not worried about the consequences of me speaking truth to power. You won't have to have a hashtag for it to vote to get me to fight Nancy Pelosi or whoever the Democratic Party leadership is. Again, they're just saying I think that's the path forward. And this thought only came around to me when I was in South Carolina and I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders. When I was in South Carolina and I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders, everyone that was around me in the Bernie campaign that was around to say I was amazing at this. And I was flipping people left and right. I was talking to conservatives. I tell the story on my streams all the time. I talk to conservatives. I'm flipping them just like that. Just like that. Because it's very easy. Because people assume I'm just this bomb thrower on Twitter. They just assume. Actually, let me tweet that out. I didn't tweet the stream link since I first started. But since I didn't mean to talk about this for a while, let me get to some of the comments, and then I'm gonna do my my climate change story. So this is what we're gonna do. And also, while I'm getting ready to tweet my stream out, let me say this. I am very, very excited. Very, very excited. Because I usually don't check my numbers. I don't really do that for that, but I literally just so happen to look. And I have 1,100 followers on Twitch, which is just incredible. Just incredible. Because I just got started in September. I just got this little low working class setup here, I should say. I'm trying to be nice to myself. Oh, fuck it. I don't need to be nice to myself. I got the broke nigga set up here. But just the cheap mic. Just a shitty HD webcam here. You guys know who I am. So let me tweet discussing potentially running. People are going to, like, my haters are going to swarm on this one, but I don't care. Watch my stream. Yell at me on live. Discussing the possibility of running in 2020 or if that doesn't get people to watch, I don't know what will. I already got a good amount of people in here now, just considering I just got started. But yeah, I'm like, what if I take? Let me get some of these comments here. I started talking about this because the first comment asked me to run. So let me get some of these as well. Everyone left the center, and did what Drew Kozinski said. Thank you for the comment here. David said, "Hey, thank you, David. How you doing?" Drew said, "Everyone left the center, and many in the center are for solutions to climate change. But how do we get to the center to understand that the solution to climate change is inherently anti-capitalist?" That's a great lead into my story I'm going to do on climate change. But I know people coming asking me about me potentially running. And this is the only... I'll leave it with this thought, right? I'm 100% going to be attacked for my tweets. Anyone who follow me, most people that watch my stream follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter, Socialist MMA. Most people that know me know I'm a bomb thrower, and they're gonna attack me for my tweets. They're gonna attack me for being vocally against Joe Biden and voting third party. But my thing is, I really, really don't think in the middle of a economic collapse where things are not gonna get better under Joe Biden, that people really gonna care about my fucking Twitter page. Only 15% of the population is on Twitter. So what I would love to do, I would love to get my team put together. I have so many people that I'm blessed to follow me on Twitter that said they will be more than happy to help my campaign. I mean, ton of people who said they want a phone bank, ton of people that said they want a canvas. Literally people out of state that say they're gonna help. Like, I'm very happy about that. So once again, the Democratic establishment will attack me. Anyone will go after me. But what if me and my team that I developed on Twitter, like people always say Twitter is not real life, but I met a lot of great activists on Twitter. I got contacts in Casey's tenants. I think Casey tenants will be very interested in my plan when it comes to housing. I think they would be very interested in my plan regarding that. I believe in universal housing. Casey Sunrise is a large activist group in Kansas City that I'm a part of. I'm a part of Casey Sunrise. And I have a lot of people that's part of Casey Sunrise that I'm very close with. So can you imagine? So this is what I'm saying. Can you imagine if I had my organization I got on Twitter? I'm lucky I got a lot of people that said they will help me. I had Casey Tenants having my back. Casey Sunrise will have my back. And then I will have the grassroots organization I have, the massive amount of people I know locally in Kansas City. I was born and raised here. Knocking on every fucking door. Every door. Every single one. Everyone. And I tell them that Manuel Cleaver is responsible for the corporate bailouts. Manuel Cleaver is against Medicare for all. Manuel Cleaver is against the Green New Deal. He has done nothing but, like, for example, when I'm looking at Kansas City, the crime rate in Kansas City has gone up. Because once again, I mentioned this before, how we are largely a black city. So we are a red state, but because we got 3 times more black population, we are heavily Democratic. Cleaver win all his races by like 65-70%, right? So just imagine the scenario where I can knock on every door and convince people that he is the reason why the black community is struggling right now. Cause word to lie. I got an op-ed I'm gonna release. I talk about this all the time on Twitter on how the Black Congressional Caucus let down the black community, and Manuel Cleaver been part of the Black Congressional Caucus for a long time. And I can use my same canvassing skills that got people to convert and flip the Bernie Sanders at a very high rate. I can take that. I can take those skills and do that in my local community and let them know that will be fine for you. And yeah, I will take a big hit because people will pull up my Twitter and they will get offended by jokes. They get mad because I said we should vote third party. But at the end of the day, do you think the working class mom of 3 who need health care, do you really think that she's going to give a fuck about my Twitter page? I really doubt it. We put it to test. And this is the thing. Cory Bush won on the second time. So what if the first time I run, I get 20-30%. Then the second time I run, I got more legitimacy. A lot of people already know who I am because of name recognition. Then 2024 come. Manuel Cleaver is not young, guys. He's 74. So I challenge him. Best case scenario, I win. But worst case scenario, I build my name recognition, and then his old ass is going to retire. And then when he retires, guess who's going to be the favorite for that seat? I did more planning on this than a lot of people think I did. Let me get some of these comments. Rain said, I donate canvas and happy to edit videos. Rain. Social Cinema on Twitter. PM me. My DMs are open. I need a video editor so bad. Because I like, you guys need to check out my YouTube. I just now started to release, like, you guys know I do these long streams, right? I'm trying to tell myself I'm going to do an hour and a half at best today. But yesterday I did 3 hours. I can do 3 hours. I can be on the Joe Rogan podcast easily. I can do that. So, but I understand that can be hard to watch. So I started editing some of my videos on YouTube. And I'll put a clip out today that I took and edited about 17 minutes of the 3-hour conversation we had, make it more centered around defunding the police and other subjects. So once again, I'm going to increase the quality of my channel. And this is another thing. Since we talking about my channel, and since we talking about me potentially running, I'm gonna tweet the YouTube version of this. But this is a very important point. This is a very important point that I want people to understand. I'm gonna tweet the YouTube version of this so people can watch on there. Because this is another strategy I have. Because a lot of people don't understand how much I've been thinking about this ever since my experience canvassing with Bernie Sanders. Let me tweet this out though. And I'm behind the comments, but I swear to God, guys, I'm gonna get to them. I apologize for that. Discussing. Pretty much just did the same thing, but with the YouTube link. But you guys know my channel. My channel is growing, and I call myself a citizen journalist. I'm a citizen journalist. I pass the mic to the people. I am not. I'm very clear. It's always funny when I hear my critics, and my critics always assume that I think I'm bigger than I am. I'm very clear about who I am and what I am. I'm just a working class black dude in Kansas City that used to sell cars, who quit his job to help canvass for Bernie Sanders, and throughout the course of that, I gained, luckily, a following. And throughout my time while I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders, I was talking to people, and people were always saying, "Oh, you're just a clout chaser on Twitter. That's all you do. You just tweet." my question to these people is, how do you think I got my following? How do you think that happened? I was an unknown account just like you on Twitter. And then I quit my job, went to Bernie Sanders, went to volunteer for Bernie Sanders, and then I was doing the citizen journalism that I always wanted to do. Well, I will not only canvas and talk to people, I canvas and talk to them, and I'll share their stories on Twitter, and people love seeing that. And I was talking to people, I was getting them so hyped up, and that's what people was telling me, like, yo, Forgiveness has arrived. I'm glad you're here. You're lucky I don't force your ass to watch everything on stream. Just playing. But my point I was making is, as a citizen journalist and as someone who want to grow my channel, and as someone who said I'm going to run a Malcolm X style campaign, and I'm going to run a campaign that no one will ever see, never seen before, I will transform this channel into the channel of my constituency. What does that mean? What if I canvas? What if I am talking to voters and I air the YouTube video of their concerns? Because people ask me, I remember I was giving people tips on how to canvas because I was getting a lot of success. I'll literally, when I start canvassing with people, I'll ask them very simply, what is the number one issue that's going on in your life that you think Washington, D.C. is not answering? That's the best question to ask. Now, I tell people to ask that question because people will answer that question even if they don't believe with you politically. But our policy demands and our policy goals are so popular, even among people who don't know they support it. If I ask that question, even I ask some conservatives that question, and they know the government don't give a fuck about the working class, and I get into that. Once again, the most important, when I was in South Carolina, I was asking people, what is your number one concern? Like, what you worried about? Vast majority of people were saying stuff like healthcare, wages. And if you're canvassing for Bernie Sanders, you can't convert that. I don't know what to say to you. It was easy. So my point, imagine if I canvass every door. Imagine I started talking to my constituents who Emmanuel Cleaver failed, and I start putting those videos on YouTube. Ooh. Imagine I put a video of me on YouTube, me literally speaking to my constituents live, not set up. Like, you know, they do them set up things. I'm like literally, I would do it live. So not only would that help me with exposure, because people are like, yo, there's this candidate that's literally recording himself talking to his constituency. How could that's gonna get coverage? Like, that's gonna get coverage if I do it that way. So my thing I've been trying to tell people to do is we can't look back at Bernie and assume. We can't look at Bernie and the progressive movement and assume that was a peak. I take Bernie Sanders and the progressive movement, I'm like, okay, that was a starting point. That was a starting point. And we can improve on that. Just I saw someone in the comments mention Shahid Buttar and how he could have ran a better campaign. I'm not dissing Shahid because he had an uphill battle, but we can learn from every single one of these campaigns. So when I talk about the kind of stuff, the last thing I want to be is be the Joshua guy. I don't want to talk shit on that guy because I assume he's great. But he siphoned a lot of left resources, didn't run a serious campaign, and got like 0.1% of the vote. That is not what I'm trying to do. If I run, I am here to fucking win this shit. I'm competitive. I've been an athlete my entire life. I hate losing. I hate fucking losing. So I have this thing where I'm talking about this. Well, we're about 25 minutes in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. This wasn't my plan, but I only had a few stories I was going to cover today, so fuck it. Fuck it. So this channel, if I ran, would completely transform into the channel of my constituency. And if I won, why would I shut that down? Someone explain to me, why would I shut that down? Even if I win, I would still have videos of my constituents. As a citizen journalist, I will air the grievances of the working class that CNN and MSNBC and other corporate media ignores. That's why I call myself a citizen journalist, because I'm here to pass the mic to the ordinary people. Because when you go on CNN, when you go on MSNBC, hell, you go on some progressive news shows, watch them. It's highly elitist. It's only a certain amount of people are allowed to share their opinions on those shows. I mean, one of the criticisms that Cedar had of the Force to Vote movement was, they were like, okay, what's your credentials? Fuck their credentials. Who gives a fuck? We are a citizen-based movement. And that's the elitism that we don't need on the left. If you can tell a story and you got someone listen to your story. You're a journalist. If you're one of the people on the left, they're like, oh, he not a real journalist. What are you talking about? What are you doing? You realize by saying that, you are literally propping up the corporate media establishment, whether you believe it or not. Because if you say that, that means you are saying that people that work on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, these people I consider the least credible people because they constantly lie about war, they constantly lie about the military-industrial complex, the police with the constant propaganda, them constantly lying about protests, them refusing to talk about poverty. These people are not serious people. Oh, I see you put Casey Tennant stats in here. Hopefully I get it before you get deleted. Let me see what Casey Tennant put on there. But my greater overall point is if you can tell a story and there are people, even one or two people listening, you're a journalist. Because that's how we challenge power. If everyone got in the goddamn game and we told a friend and we told another friend about these issues. I see someone say they're trying to give up on electoralism. I think we should take all our shots. We should take all our shots, whether it be electoralism, whether it be direct action, whether it be protest, everything we have in our pocket we should take. And the battle of electoralism will be easier if people doing what I'm saying right now. Stop having this elitist view of journalism. That only helps the establishment. Because you are pigeonholing the amount of people that can tell a story to only the Harvard elite. So they did a study. You know that our current media, they are more well-educated and a higher elite than our politicians. They all come from elite academia. So if anyone is attacking someone because they're a journalist and you don't like them, you're like, oh, you're not a real journalist. Only thing you're doing is helping the propagandists. Hope you guys realize that. So this page will transform into the page of my constituents. Them telling their stories on healthcare. Them telling the stories about their wages and how the policies that I want to implement, how that will actually improve their lives. That's what I want to do. Can you imagine? Especially if Cori Bush stands in solidarity with me. Because she dethroned a 50-year political black congressional oligarch dynasty in St. Louis. And my situation is the same. In Kansas City, Emmanuel Cleaver had been in public service for like 20 years. Started on city council, became the mayor. He'd been a congressman since 2006. So I have a very high uphill battle going against the entire black congressional oligarchy. So I would need Cori Bush to endorse me. I would need these key endorsements, plus what I already plan to do to stand a chance. So I got into that spiel a long time, but I was just let me get to some of the other comments and let me know what you guys think about my game plan when it comes to running. Like, do you guys think I have a chance? Do you think I should? I thought this out. I'm like, bro, there's a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways that and a lot of strategies I've been thinking of and coming up when it comes to defeating the black congressional oligarchs. Because I got a very, very strong line of attack on Cleaver. Let me get to some of these other comments before they get deleted. Chris Progress said young people have better strategy than the old school. Facts. Yep. I said it before. And the fact that Bernie Sanders only went on Kyle Kalinsche's show one time in 2 elections, that's political malpractice. Like Bernie Sanders, he relied on old legacy media that did nothing but smear them. And he let them set the agenda instead of him going on Kyle Kalinske. Him going on any of the left media, like even the ones I don't like. Even the ones I don't like. Like him going on these left media shows, the independent media shows, it will be allowing him to rebuke corporate media talking points, and then they'll be forced to cover that. They'll be forced to cover that. So I think that was a big mistake. So but I think the next generation, we need to utilize technology. We need AOC actually laid the blueprint. You got to canvass every fucking door. You can't. People be like, oh, he's going to campaign on Twitter. No, I guarantee you I'm not. I guarantee you I'm going to knock on every fucking door in my district. Chris Parker also said money help with ads, but growing base fruits matter more. AOC did that. Yep, exactly what I was saying. The good news is, like, I have so many people that say they will donate, so hopefully they are telling the truth. Because if I can get, like, if I'm already ahead of the game. I'm sorry that this sounds cocky, I really do. But I'm already ahead of the game because I already got more followers than a lot of people when they run for Congress. and these are the people you need to donate. These are the people you need to canvas. These people that need phone for you. So if you look at the standard candidate, they got to start from ground one. I've seen a lot of candidates that had they were just starting on Twitter with small amount following. I have the initial advantage. Well, at least I will have a donor base. I will have a volunteer base. So I'll be at a better spot than most people. But I am not under any illusions that this will be an easy task. I mean, incumbents win like 90% of the time, 95% of the time. And I'm a guy that the Democratic Party already hates. So, but I laid you guys out my strategy. If I knock on every single door and I explain to them the crimes of the Democratic Party and what I would do to increase their life, dude, especially with things getting worse. Like Joe Biden winning is actually better for me because once Joe Biden wins, now that Joe Biden won and then things continue to get worse because they will. I don't want them to, but they will. I covered the reason why on my show multiple times, but things will get worse unfortunately. And then I'm gonna be the guy running saying I told you so. We need to change direction. That's why I actually talk to people and explain to them how the Democratic Party let them down and what I'm gonna do different. If I knock on every door and make that spill, I just don't see how I can at least make it a competitive run. Social Sienna said, I'm thinking about running to be a rep of Florida in 2026. Hell yes. I got your back, homie. Forgive me, she said, Sienna, I will turn to a stand account for you. Forgive me, she is a true comrade, guys. She's a true comrade. Invoking the 25th at this point is nothing more than hot dog and grandstanding. Y'all don't get the fucking point. Anything other than putting the Republicans that are complicit with this in prison is a waste of fucking time. The same people who are anti-force to vote because they're like, oh, it's just theater. Force to vote is just theater. Those same people are all for the impeachment, even though he's going to be gone in 2 weeks. How does that help the American people? You could impeach Trump because I'll let you in, Sienna. Let me unmute you. So I was just running my first story for a story. So I think they should be able to hear you now. But
now okay. Hi.
So what? So I see you left in the comments. You said you think about running in 2026, huh?
Yeah, because in order to run for the House of Representatives, you have to be 25. And in 2026 is when I hit 25, so...
Oh, so you all about that game. You ready. You ready
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. That's going to be... it's going to be super exciting to see the people... What was that?
If I would, I would be... I don't know if Marco Rubio would still run, but if he did, I would crush him. I would easily crush Marco Rubio.
Yeah, Marco...
If he just keeps running.
Yeah. I mean, it would be very interesting to see a lot of people that was inspired by the progressive movement in the last few years actually really start running because we've seen a few that was already set up to run, but there's going to be a lot of people that have been inspired that haven't been on run until recently, like you in 2026. And I didn't consider it until I got into my activism and really started talking to voters. So you're going to see a lot of people actually challenging the oligarchy. Forgive me, she said you should run. I will literally move the campaign for you. I'm making you my campaign manager. I'm considering moving back home and running against Kevin McCarthy. That was Sal Lopez says. Good luck, comrades. Like I said, I don't put too much stock in electoral politics. My position has always been we should always take all our shots. So people who are like this is why I never understand people who got mad at other leftists for who they voted for in the general election. I was never like that. You know why? Because once again, I didn't put a lot of stock in electoral politics. I don't give a fuck who you vote for. I think too many people put too much stock in that. But I think it would be foolish for us to not take that, to just completely abandon that lane. But don't get me wrong. Especially now that we can't get the squad to vote against Pelosi, we can't get them to bend to our political will. I don't blame people who divested from electoral politics. The people who, the people who won't donate no more, the people who won't canvass. I can't blame them. How can I blame them for not wanting to canvass for progressive Democrats when they won't fight for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. So it's not a black and white issue. Not black and white, but I think we should take all our shots. That's just where I stand. I think it's foolish to let to ignore that. Let me do some of the other comments here. Forgive us that we should all get into the same apartment complex if we move, so we have a Uber pool. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna kick ass and destroy the oligarchy by day. We're gonna party and have sexy parties by night. That's the plan. IME said, Nick, I think you should run no matter what. Even door knocking will make a huge difference. That's a good point. That's a really good point, IME, who then followed up and said, I wish Nick loved me. Nah, I love you, bro. I love you. You my first and only mine so far. So, you're definitely a homie. I'm supposed to get into this climate change story. I'm 30 minutes in already. So I was just ranting and raving. Let me get this. I'll catch them on the comments and then I'll do the climate change story. Yeah, see, forgiving she's a true comrade. You guys see it in the comments here. I even said Bernie is a worse neolib than LC in the squad ever could be. I think Bernie's means well. We just got disagreements on some key issues. I think he's a member of the silent generation. Like, he's old as fuck. I don't think he got the same. I just literally don't think he got the same fight nor the strategy like he used to. I just think that, like, young Bernie, like, if we had a young Bernie Sanders, young Bernie was a savage, man. We needed young Bernie. Let me see if I can find a tweet I made a long time ago.
If both of us ran for Congress, we would basically both be young Bernie Sanders.
Man, I really wish I could find a tweet.
More of that.
I'm gonna show you guys it. Yeah, like, my thing is, I'm gonna take all the positives from the anti-establishment candidates and run on it. Like, we talk about Yang's UBI on my show all the time and why it's trash, but why not make a better progressive version of a UBI?
Exactly.
So that's why I'm like, I will adopt that. Take all his stupid negatives away, because you guys know I'm very hard into ending U.S. imperialism and stand up for Julian Assange. These things that he's weak on, take that out. Take the UBI. Take legalizing all drugs. Take the good part for what he represent. Take the good part what Tulsi represent. Like, I don't like the turf shit. I don't like this, like, pivot to the cultural right that she's doing. But she introduced legislation to end the Patriot Act. She was strongly fighting against regime change wars. So you take the positives. Like, I know, like, people be like, "Oh, you fucking Tulsi Gabbard," bro. I'm talking about the policy she supports, and she had a good criminal justice program too. So I'm like, take the good of all these people, take the good of Bernie Sanders' domestic policies, his ability to organize leadership, his him fighting for the game for so long, and him literally taking a stand. And his policy platform was amazing at the end of the day. And this is how I won people over, by explaining that. So you take all these good things, and you got super candidates everywhere. I don't, for the love of God, I don't understand why people don't do this. And then when people run in 2022, we take all the best things from 2022 and add that, and then we have that in our pocket as well. Like, we're gonna learn for the shitheads. We're gonna learn from all the other progressive candidates that ran this year who didn't win. But this is what I'm saying. This is the Bernie Sanders I wish we had. I told you this a long time ago, and I was like, bro, I miss young Bernie. The fuck the Democratic Party Bernie. Cause check this out. We would have been much better off if we had this Bernie Sanders. This is what he said. 1985. I am not now, nor have I ever been, a liberal Democrat. 2014. Pretty recently. I'm not a Democrat. I despise Democrats. Let me move my window out of the way here so you guys can see the rest of it. And this is what he said. I wish Bernie Sanders still believed this. I really do. Why should we work within the Democratic Party if we don't agree with anything the party says? I think it cuts off there. The party says. So that in 1990. I would love to pose that question to you, Bernie. Why should we work for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party when they don't believe in anything that we are fighting for? They even backed away from the few fucking things that people had decent arguments for why we should vote for him. People were like, oh, we should vote for Joe Biden because at least we get rid of student loan debt. Walk that back. We should vote for Joe Biden because at least he will reverse Trump's immigration policies. Walk that back. So I wish you still believed this, Bernie. The Democratic and Republican parties are the Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Let me see if I can read it from here. It cuts out a little bit. He said the Democratic Party and Republican parties are Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They both adhere to an ideology of greed and vulgarity. It only got worse, Bernie. He said that in 1989. It only got worse. It will be hypocritical of me to run as a Democrat because of the things I said about the party. I actually disagree with the idea of him running as a Democrat because obviously running as a Democrat, that's your best way to win. My issue is you coalescing and holding water for the Democrats, pretending they're something they're not. So once again, it would be hypocritical of you, right? The Democrat Party is ideologically bankrupt. They have no ideology. Their ideology is opportunism. The Democratic and Republican parties are intellectually and morally bankrupt. So, I said, I wish this Bernie Sanders was like it. I literally said, I miss young Bernie. The fuck the Democratic Party, Bernie. Miss that guy. So, I never return police to anyone who has issue with Bernie Sanders, but I think he changed. I don't think we did. You know what I mean? And I just think he got old and he literally got tired of that shit. Can you link that pic, please? Here, yeah. I'll put the link to that tweet in the chat here. Boom. I mean, I posted that that was in August. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this. I got a lot more followers since then. So I'm gonna just say, imagine we still had this Bernie, so more people can see it. So I'll put it on my Twitter as well. Imagine if we still had this Bernie. I don't know if that's a banger tweet, but I just want people to see the image. Not every tweet I gotta put out has to be a banger. I just want people to see that. Cause I was just reminded that out of nowhere anyway. Let's see. Sorry if I missed your comments on getting. Wait. I'll be right back. One second.
And he's back.
Yep, I hate Discord. I'm supposed to use Google Hangouts, but I forgot. I forgot I'm supposed to be doing that. Insidious MG. Bernie started movement of people like Nick motivated to run. Yeah, this is the thing. I understand people who are deeply disappointed with Bernie Sanders. I will never tone police anyone who had disappointment with Bernie Sanders. Never. He's a politician. He's a senator at the end of the day. But I will always give him credit for kickstarting this movement. Always will. Sunshine P said they had such a hollowed out weak attempt for the first impeachment. Would have failed. Yep, they still on that stupid shit, huh? They better be on Biden's ass with that same energy for the $2,000 check. You know they won't. They're deeply unserious people. This is just a game to them. Yeah, I even said Bernie literally dropped out and endorsed a warmonger. That's why I don't take people who protect Bernie seriously. I don't protect anyone. I'll just give my opinions. But anyone who got legitimate criticism of Bernie Sanders, you will never see me mute them. And that's the left right now that's trying to promote infighting. The people who are going after anyone who got any criticism of Bernie in the squad. I'm not that guy. We may not agree on our assessments, but I don't see any reason to tone police unless. Jem Reese got a G off tweet up there. He blocked me. He one of the people that talk shit behind the block. I think that dude 100% Democratic Party operative who designed him and his trolls. A lot of people told me he got a lot of troll accounts and a lot of bots that work on his behalf, and they're clearly targeting anyone who advocates for leaving the Democratic Party or anyone who is ruthlessly aggressive on attacking the Democratic Party instead of the Republican parties. And it is extremely transparent. It's extremely transparent. They were flooding my account like they're gonna get me tired, like they're gonna make me upset. Like, bro, I don't care. If anyone follow my Twitter, I legitimately don't care. like if you upset with me, I'm gonna speak my truth, and I'm gonna continue to speak my truth, and I'm gonna joke, and I'm gonna have fun. And if you're one of the people that are upset with my jokes and have fun, Thank you for helping me purge the timeline. But hope you guys realize that that's what's happening. And I think the left had to adjust to the new reality. The reality is a lot of our comrades, a lot of people who support the Bernie Sanders movement, they don't believe in solidarity. They don't believe in solidarity. They just want to save a little bit of money on healthcare. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. Let's see. Brian said, that's what I'm saying. I also think that giving Republicans and now after blindly supporting him this whole time. Yeah, I'm like the impeachment thing, I'm like, what the fuck is that about? But I am for what Cori Bush wanted to do, expel all the members who was supportive of this coup, because at the end of the day, we really do have to believe in some shit. We really got to believe in democracy. So I do support Cori Bush and her wanting to expel anyone who was supportive of this. But spending your time and wasting political capital trying to impeach Trump right now is fucking stupid. Like, it's so stupid. So you got a voter, Nidon Lonkilt, said he's from Florida and they'll vote for you in a heartbeat. So congrats on that, Sienna. That's awesome. What do you think about left turning into the PC police that other leftists? Don't get me. I kind of alluded to that just now, but it's not an accident. It's not an accident. These people are 100% Democratic Party operatives that are designed to. They want to split the left, and they want to attack anyone who don't want anything to do with the Democratic Party. So they want to make sure they're trying to pull people back into the party, because the criticism of Bernie Sanders is that he was a sheepdog, and there's some people that saw through the sheepdog. There's a lot of people that saw through it. There's a lot of people that saw through it, and the people who saw through it, like my account, my big account right now, is being attacked relentlessly because they were trying their best to pull us back into the party. That I'm like, bro, if you don't support my policies, I don't fuck with you. It's literally just that simple.
Apparently, the Democrats are still going on about the 25th Amendment, and this dude is gonna be leaving office in like 2 weeks. So it's like, we're still waiting on our $2,000 checks. Why are you wasting your time? The dude is leaving the presidency in 2 weeks.
What was that? Sorry, I missed. What say that again?
I'm seeing trending on Twitter that House Democrats are still going on about the 25th Amendment, even though Trump leaves in like 2 weeks. And it's like, why are you wasting your time on that? We're still waiting for those $2,000 checks.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they're not going to be serious for fighting for the people. And when you see Joe Biden and his team continue to take over for the Democratic Party, it's gonna. This is why I see an opening for the progressive left, because unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but things are only going to get worse, and that's going to give us an opening to actually really fight for issues that people believe in. Let's see. Yeah, Sunshine Peace said you can combine electoral politics with real activism to organize strikes. Yep. You need to combine everything. Everything. Combine all of that. I'm super high on these comments here. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing that long. I'm only going to do an hour, so I think I'm going to get to this climate change story. And then we can wrap it. Like, I did 3 hours yesterday. I really need to cut down on my timing. I really need to cut down on that. Yeah, see, I think a lot of people agree with me here. This is why I'll just tweet out before I get into that. I was like, imagine we still had this Bernie. I think a lot of people agree with me. 146 likes in 6 minutes. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just behind the comments. I get in there. I'll get there for you, forgiving you. Let me see. What did you say? What did I miss? I think everyone attacking G off. Let's see. What I envy me put in here. I envy me always share the best stories and all that. The Nation said, oh yeah, I did see that. I wanted to cover that. I may run a long time. Let's take a look at this. This is I actually commented on this on my Twitter as well. It's kind of amazing. You have white people who they know how privileged they are. they benefit from the police state. They know they benefit from white privilege, but they still play the victim. They still pretend the decks are stacked against them. And just like the nation, this is one of the Trump supporters was saying, this is not American. This is not America, a woman said to a small group with her voice shaking. They're shooting at us. They're supposed to shoot at Black Lives Matter, but they're shooting the patriots. So they know. Like when I do my defund the police bill, when I talk about defund the police, and I say that the police is an institution designed to enforce racial hierarchies, they know. Like they know this. They understand why the police do what they do and how they work. That's why they don't want them to be defunded. That's what she's saying here. And when I see that, and when I continue to see the stupid shit, I can't help but believe that if you're complicit with defund the police, if you're complicit with this, I'm sorry, if you're not for defund the police, you're complicit with the crimes our police say. You're complicit and you're putting a rubber stamp on this racial hierarchy that we have in our law enforcement. Because if you're for reform of the police, you gotta be very specific what you're for. Because I mentioned it a few times on my show. There's one good reform: disarm all police officers. And I think that's just a starting point. But at least that's a decent reform. They don't even want to do that. So what are you talking about? How do you make a reform so the police they don't have a two-tier layer of justice system where they coddle MAGA and right-wing far-right extremists while they attack Black Lives Matter protesters constantly? How is that how are you supposed to reform that? Like that's an inherent bias that is installed institutionally that you're not going to be able to prevent from happening. So, anyway, let me actually get to the comment story. Because I at least want to read this off. Like, so I'm not doing long streams today. About an hour or so. About an hour. Damn it, I'm out. Lost damn, I need to find it. But this is another one I saw earlier today. I'm trying to rush through these stories here. This is the Chicago Police Union president, John Kazanzar. I think I'm saying that right. Maybe not. Expressed sympathy for pro-Trump extremists who stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. If the worst crime here is trespassing, so be it. But to call these people treasonous is beyond ignorant. Beyond ignorant. That's what he said. So they always have each other's back. The far-right extremists, they're just the right-wingers who couldn't make it as cops. That's what that is. So this is the police force that liberals still prop up, and they still believe that they protect and serve us. Anyway, let me find my climate story. I've been tweeting too much. I had to pull it up, and now I closed it like an idiot. Oh, Jesus. The premise of this story, and this is why we have to be, there it is. We can't just give up ground on climate change. Like, when I was tweeting hashtag no middle ground, I really meant it. Because if you don't believe in the will of the scientists, you're not actually serious about climate change. If you're not for cutting the military budget by at least 50%, you're not serious about climate change. Which no one proposed other than the Green Party, who wanted to cut at least 70%. And the critics of the Green New Deal, the Democrat Party, who people still pretend is our friend for some reason, they still pretend the Democrat Party is our friend, they don't support the Green New Deal. So that means they fundamentally don't understand what the scientists are saying that we should do. The only way we fight the climate crisis is by fundamentally transforming our economy. And Republicans and you got Democrats that say it as well. They're like, oh, that's so expensive. How are we going to afford to do all that? Meanwhile, these stories constantly come out and they never bring it up. CNBC says there's a new, according to damage done in 2020, it cost $210 billion. So, and it's only going to get worse, especially when we get massive flooding. We start losing massive amount of land. Once the acidification of the ocean gets worse, and you have entire sections of like fisher markets that are not going to be able to run, when you got certain areas on Earth that have been housing human life for thousands and thousands of years, they're not going to be. You can't live there no more. So if you're a Republican and you worry about the cost of this, and you was worried about the refugee crisis that we had before. The refugee crisis we had before is nothing compared to this. Nothing compared to this. Like, once you get areas of sub-Saharan Africa, when you get a large chunk of the Middle East that become uninhabitable, you're literally going to see, it's going to be a refugee crisis the likes humanity have never seen before. So you would think that conservatives are against that, and that will give them plenty of reason to take climate change seriously. So the story, as you said, the record number of hurricanes, wildfires, and floods exacerbated by climate change cost the world $210 billion in damages last year, a top insurer said. The six costliest disasters of 2020 occurred in the U.S., topped by Hurricane Laura's devastation, which caused $13 billion in damages after hitting Louisiana in August. One major problem the report revealed is the lack of insurance coverage for disasters in developing countries. Overall, disaster losses in Asia totaled $67 billion, of which only the $3 billion was insured. And there are studies that constantly show, man, you save more money by implementing the Green New Deal and fighting climate change instead of taking the trillions and trillions of dollars of damage that's gonna happen over the next few decades. So if you're serious about this, you actually gotta fight climate change. And then once again, there's a serious argument to be made that these numbers are gonna increase because there's a very strong correlation with the rise of pandemics and sickness because of climate change. So I'm not saying because that's how COVID started, but you're gonna see a lot more pandemics. You're gonna see a lot more illnesses. Do that count? And like, do you add those healthcare costs to this number? So I'm looking at this number. I'm like, this number may be a very conservative estimate because there's so many things you can look at, and the damages that will be caused by climate change, and add that to that. So my point is, this is why I said when I say hashtag no middle ground. This is why I said no middle ground. This is why you can't fuck around with this. And Joe Biden climate plan. Joe Biden still wants to implement fracking. I mean, so all this stuff's happening. He wants to implement fracking. He got John Kerry as his climate czar, and he was an advocate of offshore drilling. That's who he is. Advocate of fracking. That's the climate guy. This is why I work with KC Sunrise. This is why it's very important to take climate change seriously, because we're going through all this stuff in society right now. We're going through racial protests. We're going through a pandemic. We're going through economic collapse. But despite all of that, we still have climate change right around the corner. Let me do some of these comments here. IME said they know the police protects them, but they still deny it because it benefits them. Yep. And they only think they're Americans and everyone else is people they just tolerate. Yep. 100%. That's last, especially the last point where they just they consider themselves Americans but not other people. That's why the concept of having Medicare for all, where I cover healthcare for all your people, I consider that to be the most patriotic policy platform that you can have. But they don't even see it that way, because when black people die because they don't have healthcare, when their neighbors die because they don't have healthcare, fuck them. That's the mind of the conservative and apparently the liberal mind. Those people that don't support Medicare for all if you're a liberal. Because you gotta explore what that really means. If you're a liberal and you're a Democrat and you don't support Medicare for all, so for example, they always been virtue signaling. They say that if you get COVID-19, that should not bankrupt you. I believe that anyone who catch COVID, we should take care of the health care. You're so close. You're so close. My question I will pose to you: why is it morally bankrupt for someone to go bankrupt under COVID, but someone get cancer and some reason they deserve to go bankrupt? I would love if we have a journalist that will ask Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any Democrat that very, very fucking simple question. People, once again, people, you want to say that I'm not really a journalist? I guarantee you, I will ask much better question than any other fucking journalist. I will ask Joe Biden, how does keeping the schools open control the spread of COVID-19? Well, I don't want to ask him that because you don't have an answer. The Democrat Party is protected by the Democratic media class. That's what they are. That's what they represent. So that's always why I stand regarding the Democratic Party. I was just now saw your message for giving to you. Like I said, sometimes I'm ranting now. I'm not used to my comments coming in, so I'm sorry I missed some of these comments. Hope you saw that wink though. See, I'm reading y'all comments. See that? I'm not smooth I used to be back in the day, but I still got it. No, Don Jovan said there's no such thing as a good cop. So yeah, Insidious Mass said people have no idea how much waste they produce and all the plastics going to the ocean. It's not even just they, meaning people. It's the corporations. They're responsible for the vast majority of the emissions, the vast majority of the pollution. Don Jovan said the refugee crisis in the global south is more due to U.S. imperialism. 100%. That is 100% what the refugee crisis is about. The refugee crisis is going to get even worse when climate change becomes part of that. Great comment. Dude, this loudest fire said they spent $100 million to fix up the coast of Lake Superior in Michigan because of flooding. It's not even just on the coast. So yeah, that's $100 million just for Lake Michigan. Imagine when this become a global... Well, it is a global issue, but once it become ramped up as we expect it to happen this decade, how much money can we spend that much money everywhere? You know what I mean? Doe Meter said billions of people food sources will be gone. Yeah, that's a very big deal. That was something that people don't talk about enough, is the amount the fishermen market will be crushed, because one of the most under-discussed things about climate change is the ocean acidification because of the rising CO2 in the atmosphere, and you're seeing a massive loss of diversity of life. Let me see if I can find this article that's very concerning for anyone who loves nature, right? Because what they're seeing, because of many factors of climate change, ocean acidification and water acidification being one of them, we are seeing large ecosystems completely collapse, and almost like a timetable way. Like, there's multiple stories here. Like, my thing is like, which one should I click? Because look, there's multiple stories here. Native biodiversity collapse in Eastern Mediterranean. I can't ever say that. Climate change is turning the Eastern Mediterranean, got it, into a completely new ecosystem. Amazon rainforest will collapse by 2064, a new study predicts. Large ecosystem collapse. That's what I'm talking about. Large ecosystem collapse over human timescales and new paper reports. I'm trying to find the article that I saw a few days ago. But yeah, this is the biodiversity collapse, and that's gonna have a lot of effects too. So I know there's a lot of things that are distracting people right now in the media and the news right now, but this will always be the biggest challenge that we have. I mean, like Chomsky said, like anyone who was climate change deniers, they were literally the most evilest humans on this planet, because they literally are leading to the destruction of society as we know it. And I literally really believe that. And the difference between me and Chomsky said the Republicans are the most evilest people on this planet because they deny climate change. I would take a step further and say the Democrats are complicit with that, and they also need to be held accountable. But anyway, with that said, I'm an hour in. I'm not doing long live today. I did 3 hours yesterday. So we just do a quick hour episode today. Thank you all guys for watching. Check out my YouTube channel, The Progressive Martial Artist. I'll upload small